Hey, everybody, welcome back to Monthly Leadership Coaching. This is session 2 of a 6-part, 6 secrets of highly effective leaders. And I can't wait to jump into this with you. I want to just welcome you and let you know that I am Gabe Kolstad and I'm doing some coaching for leaders. And it's part of my own personal investment in what God wants to do through my life. And I believe through everybody's life. I know everybody has a significant mission, in my hope and dream through my life is really to help as many other people get on their significant mission as possible. So I want to help you find yours. I want to help you strengthen it. And so here's a couple ways I'm currently doing that. I am coaching through certified high performance coaching and through my own next level coaching for individuals and for church consulting. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I want to start out by asking you to do something real quick, because following up from last month, we did a wants and wins little section in our coaching time as we talked last month about the first secret to highly effective leaders. And we were talking about psychology. And there's a lot going on there. We're going to do a quick recap here in a couple of minutes. But what's one want that you have for your life? And what's one win? Some experts say this one thing could move you forward so much if you would daily think about what's one want and write it down, and what's one win and write it down, and just make that habit of saying, expressing an intention, and then organizing your day to get that done or to achieve that, and then celebrating that. These are secrets of, again, highly effective leaders. And so be thinking about that. We'll come back to that in just a minute. But I want to just recap. What are the 6 secrets of highly effective leaders? Well, it's and not in order. Okay, we started out last time with psychology. Today we're going to talk about physiology, but there's productivity, people, presence, and purpose. These 6 things, scientifically, this is a research study done by Brendan Burchard and the High Performance Institute. Very, very large study using scientific research and very well done. And it has really surfaced these 6 things that highly effective leaders do in their lives and in their work. And so we're going to pursue these things over the coming months and finish this out that way. But let me give you today, back to psychology. I want to teach a 3-minute script flip. All right, here's how to get out of a funk fast. All right, you ever been in a funk and your mind is just stuck and you can't seem to get out of it? I want to show you how to change that in 3 minutes. This came out of something that I just recently was going through, and I was a little bit troubled, and I was trying to figure out, how do I get out of this? I kind of got stuck, but I can lean on some of these tools that I've had from my certified high performance coaching training. I've had from years of coaching and lots of book reading. I've exposed myself to some great people. And one of the things that I'm grateful for is that it's allowed me to have a little more resilience in my own psychology and my own mental and emotional health. And so, yes, I still get down. I think everybody does. You end up in those weeks when you just have a lot going on. You can't quite figure out why you're feeling the way you are, but you can bounce back faster. And I think what I'm trying to teach here is speed to recovery. They talk about speed to action being such an important piece of, if you want to be somebody who really goes far in life, speed to action. Don't just be somebody who thinks about things, be somebody who does things. And I think that's important. But for me, speed to recovery when I get in one of those funks is really, really important. So I just personally relied on some of the wins that I've had in this area in the past. Looking back, how did I get out of it last time? How did I move out of this maybe too introspective place, maybe looking at some negative thoughts, maybe, some self-doubt, all those things? How do you flip your script in 3 minutes? I think you can do it with these questions, these 8 questions. The first question is this: what am I feeling? So that's really the place to start. Just identify, what is that feeling? What is that? I realized the other day, mine was disappointment. I was feeling disappointment, not in other people. Guess what? In myself. I was disappointed with the way that I had conducted a meeting. And I let that feeling fester. And what it did is it just kind of overtook my mind and my emotions. And while maybe externally my wife or my kids might disagree, I think I was holding it together. I certainly wasn't at my best. I certainly wasn't present in the moment. That seems to be my own trigger for when I realize, okay, I gotta flip my script here. I'm not present in this moment. I'm I mean, yesterday. I am yesterday right now. I am back in yesterday, and I am rehearsing and stewing over my missteps in a meeting. And it's not like I blew it up. It's not like I was a monster in this meeting. I just wasn't really prepared. And it was an important meeting, and it made me down on myself. And I just couldn't get out of that moment. I was stuck back there. And then I'm sitting in this present moment going, I want to be here, but I'm not here because I'm there. And so I was feeling disappointment. That was important for me to recognize, because you could be feeling a million things. You could be feeling anger. You could be feeling sadness. You could be feeling excitement. You could be feeling all sorts of things. But if you're not present and you're not able to bring your full personhood to bear on the moment that God has brought you to, then it's time to flip your script. And here's how you do it. You ask that question: what am I feeling right now? Write it down. You could write that down. It took me about 10 seconds to realize what was going on. As soon as I asked myself that question, oh, duh, I'm disappointed in my performance at that meeting yesterday. Okay, second question: why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling this way? Well, I was feeling that way because I knew that I should have prepared more for a very certain thing. And I had that hunch. I don't know if you ever get those hunches. I had a hunch. I should prepare better for this thing that's coming up. And I just got busy. And I thought, well, actually, I excuse it. Well, actually, I've done this a million times. That's always like famous last words, right? I've done this a million times. I'm ready. I know what I'll do. I'll figure it out when I get into the moment. And that was a mistake, because the moment came and it was a little harder than I thought, and I wasn't ready, and it wasn't what it could have been and should have been. And I was really down about that. So then what was it? I was disappointed, not just in the meeting, I was disappointed in my preparation. Specifically, I was disappointed in my lack of preparation. I wrote that down. Disappointed in my lack of preparation. So then list the causes and effects. Okay, that's number 3. List the causes and effects. Not enough, honestly, for me, not enough to just go, I was disappointed in my lack of preparation. Okay, list the causes and effects. Causes: probably overbooked the day before. And so I was busy and I had an important meeting the next day. Busy, important meeting next day. Those don't go together really well. And so cause: overbooking. Cause of that, not saying no, or not delegating properly, or not just saying, let's do something next week, not having white space to prepare for an important meeting. That was my cause. The effect was I showed up a little flustered. I winged it in a moment I should have been prepared. And I was just a little angry, disappointed at myself. Okay. So these are all quick. You can just do, this is 30, 45 seconds right here. Boom, boom, boom. If you think back. Number 4, what do I need to accept and what do I need to fix? Okay, this is important for me. Almost back to the serenity prayer. God, give me the wisdom to, accept the things I cannot change, and to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that was what I needed. Is like, okay, what do I have to accept? What can I change? What can I fix? And for me, I had to accept that the meeting happened the way it happened. Less than stellar. Don't like to accept that. I'm a achiever by nature. I don't like to accept that. For me, it was like, I don't want this to be the reality of how this went. It did, though. So what can I fix? So I can't change that. I have to accept that. I can change how I do it next time. I can change my follow-up to that meeting. I can fix some of the conversations that maybe weren't super clear. I can fix those. It's not like, we don't have this opportunity. I still know these people. I still have contact with these people. I can follow up. I can go, hey, I wasn't as clear as I wanted to be. I can have that conversation. And so, oh, okay, the world isn't over. My life isn't over just because I didn't do the best in a meeting. Some of you might be like, dude, you're way too serious about this stuff. Maybe I am really hard on myself when it comes to these kinds of things, but it's because I want to do the best. I want to be my best. So anyways, what can I fix? And so I made a little list, and it was quick. It was 2, 3 things, no big deal. But it just really relieved me from thinking there's this black cloud. I don't understand why I'm feeling this way. What is it? I'm disappointed with my performance yesterday in a meeting. Why? Because my preparation. Why was that? Because I was too busy. How could I fix that? Okay, the outcomes, fix this. So I have a fix list. Okay, so just to recap, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? List the causes and effects. 4th question, What do I need to accept and what do I need to fix? Fifth question, have I accepted what needs to be accepted? Sixth question, how can I fix what needs to be fixed? Seventh question, is the plan clear? I have this fix list, right? And I need to go fix some stuff. Is the plan clear? I literally had to put on my calendar conversation about the meeting yesterday. I literally had to look ahead at next week and go, no more of those. When are my important meetings and where is my white space to get ready for those important meetings? I don't want that to happen again. And so, is the plan clear? And the eighth question, this is where we move. And again, this can happen in 3 minutes. Okay. Eighth question is this: am I ready to joyfully move to the next page of my story? Am I ready to joyfully move to the next page of my story? Deep breath in and out. I think I am. Because while I'm not satisfied with the way I did it yesterday, I have an opportunity to do better next time. And now I know how to do it. So I'm feeling empowered, which allows me to go, I'm going to leave yesterday and yesterday now. I'm going to come to right this moment, right now, knowing how to be my best and intent on being my best now and moving forward. And it just frees you up. This is the 3-minute script flip, and I hope it helps you get out of a funk fast. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. And I want to come back to this wants and wins thing. What is a want that you have in your life? And what is a win? Think about even yesterday. What's something you wanted and what's one way you won? Okay. You take that practice and you can move it into today. And you can say, what do I want? I want more energy today. Okay. I want more energy today. Well, for me, I did write that down this morning. And what I did differently was I made sure I took the time to get mentally set. I made sure I had breakfast with the right combination for me of energy providing things. I drank water this morning. I did some stretches and I took my vitamins. I was like, I want more energy today. And for wins, are you writing down your wins? I write mine down every day. What's a win? You know, a couple days ago, I had just a great conversation, personal conversation, filled my tank, and it was a win. And I was excited because I actually made time for that. That's my tendency is I'm a checklist person, I'm a task person, I'm a doer, I'm an achiever. I sometimes miss the relational moments in life. And so when I think ahead and I have that right mindset and I've got the white space and I go, ooh, I did it, I connected, then I'm like, yeah, because I know those are the most important moments in life. In fact, all the other stuff, you know, all the achieving and all that stuff really is so that could serve those relationships. And you know, for me, that's still a point of learning. And I appreciate the grace that everybody gives me in that. All right, I want to move on to secret number 2. This is physiology. Okay, so we had psychology was secret number 1 of the highest, most effective leaders, and then number 2, physiology. In other words, your physical body, your physicality, the things that you do to have your own personal power in this area. Again, this comes out of certified high performance coaching. This is a snapshot of one of those sessions that I offer, and you can sign up for it if you'd like to. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but I want to give you some quotes. Okay, Joe Aldrich, my college professor at my Bible college that I was part of at Multnomah Bible College in the 1990s, he said this. He said, our bodies and souls are so closely linked together that they catch each other's diseases. Ooh, I love that. How often that has happened to me. You know, maybe a question for you is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's your body right now? On a scale of 1 to 10, how's your energy right now? On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you? How disciplined are you at bringing yourself into places where you're stewarding your body, the temple that God gave you, and you're ready for what the day or the opportunity is going to require from you? Because the body can rub off on the soul. And as we just talked about in psychology, sometimes the reason why you know, you aren't doing well is because you're not feeling well. And so this is important. All right, the next one. Oprah Winfrey said, energy is the essence of life. Every day you decide how you're going to use it by knowing what you want and what it takes to reach that goal, and by maintaining focus. I love that. So I want to give you 2 physiology questions to think about right now. And I'm just going to give you some time to go, let me stew on this for a sec. Okay, number 1, do I feel an extraordinary level of physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual energy? Do I feel an extraordinary level of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual energy? Energy. This is physiology, energy. Your body creates it. I love what my coach says is that a power plant doesn't um, find energy. A power plant creates energy, right? Power plant creates energy, and so you are not waiting for energy to come to you. You can create it, and I think this is really a secret again of highly effective leaders. Do I feel an extraordinary level of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual energy? You might go like, no, that's not me. I'm not a high energy person. But I'll bet you at a certain point, for one thing, don't confuse energy with personality. Some people have high energy. Like I have high energy and I'm not as expressive as my wife. And I've had to get used to that and not judge myself for it. I'm not as expressive as my my sons. I'm less expressive. I have a ton of energy flowing through my body and I could work 16-hour days. Not that that's healthy, but I'm not the Energizer Bunny externally, but it's internal and it's there and it does what it needs to do. So don't confuse energy with personality. Um, do you feel an extraordinary level of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual energy? How would you rate that for yourself? There's probably times you could look back and go like, well, there are times when I did feel that. Okay, what were those times and how did that happen? Because if you can go back and kind of diagnose, like, or take apart, analyze those moments. What was going on in your life? You're probably going to find that there was some habits and some contributing factors that gave you that energy that you used to build that energy, and it was there. And it might mean that you had good boundaries around some things where you weren't allowing things to dominate your time or to dominate your mind. As we talked about physiology and psychology, they go together, right? So these build on each other. But what is the energy level that you feel? Maybe rate yourself right. Scale of 1 to 10. What's the energy level that you feel right now in those areas? Secondly, am I sleeping, eating, exercising, hydrating, gesturing, and speaking with enough passion to generate the emotions and power that I desire? Notice that it says generate the emotions and power that I desire. Am I doing those things? Because those things are what contribute to the energy that I end up having. And so sometimes we go, well, that's a high energy person, that's a low energy person. But the reality is that we really do choose our level of energy based on these habits. And so I think it's important for you and me to go, am I doing those things? Because if I do, I'm going to be able to be that energetic person and bring that energy to the areas of my life where I need it. All right. Now I want to just dive in for a second on some pressure points and ask you to think about what and just write them down. Just take your pen right now and your journal, piece of paper, your phone, whatever, write them down. What are your pressure points? And feel free to email me, Gabe at GabeKolstad.com, with those pressure points. And maybe I'll answer them in one of our future sessions. But I'd love to just have you think about what are your pressure points around that. Maybe you're like, well, it's sleep for me, man. I just cannot sleep right. Okay, well, what's going on with that? Could you improve the way you're preparing for sleep? Is your room focused enough for sleep? They say don't work in your bedroom because your mind needs to associate your bedroom with rest. That's important. Some of you might be like, well, I live in a studio apartment, so I can't change that. But you could maybe section it off, create zones. What's your sleep zone? How focused is it? They say dark room, cool room. I've started to do this myself. We actually have our room pretty cool at night, like 68 degrees is apparently, according to Ariana Huffington's study on this, is the optimal sleep temperature for your brain. So your head needs to be cooled down so that your brain can go into sleep mode and you get to REM sleep faster if it's cooler. And so, those are all things that are important. What's your sleep environment like? Maybe for you, you're like, well, it's my food. It's not eating right. Maybe you don't have the money because isn't it weird how it's expensive to eat right? It is, but maybe that's a priority you could make. And maybe you could go like, well, what's one notch closer to healthy for me? Maybe that's a time in prepping meals. Maybe that's just, getting some accountability for not stopping off at the fast food place, or limiting how many sweets you have during the week or whatever the thing is. But maybe that's your pressure point for this. Maybe for you, it's pain. Maybe you got some pain and it just drags you down and you're like, and so I actually just, you saw me, I just pointed to my right shoulder. It hurts right now. It always hurts. And I have an injury that goes way back. And so I have to learn how to manage that. So for me, I've been physical therapy and stretching and I've learned all these things. And if I don't do those things, oh my goodness, I'm down for the count. I'm just mentally, I'm just aching and I'm just distracted and not available as much as I want to be. So what's your pressure point? Think about that and think about how could you go about solving that pressure point, because I believe that God has given us, as the Bible says, everything we need for life and godliness. And He's given us the way, the tools, the knowledge. We have access to so much knowledge on this, which might be part of the problem, maybe a little bit of information overload for all of us. But if you ever feel information overload, don't forget, go back to the basics. What's the basics? I mean, you really need rest, right? You need good fuel. You need exercise. You need your mind to be strong. I mean, there's some very basic basics, right? And they say common sense is not always common practice. That's the problem. We need to go back to, well, what do I know? What do I already know? And just, am I doing those things? That's a good baseline. And then you can go to those advanced techniques after that. But don't try to get to the advanced techniques if the basics aren't in place. If the fundamental disciplines of physical health and physiology aren't in place, that's the place to start. And you can get some really easy wins there because if you're like, well, okay, I'm going to start eating breakfast. Apparently, the most important meal of the day. I'm convinced after my continued research, still true. And I'm not a breakfast eater by nature. I don't like it, but I have forced myself to have at least a small breakfast with the right things. For me, that's a certain amount of protein in the morning and lack of, not a lot of bread because that actually gets me down. Like an avocado, for some reason, just is perfect fuel for me. So there's these things, and you can kind of figure out what works for you. But back to the basics. All right. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this checklist, which is part of the physiology mastery session that I do in certified high performance coaching. And you can just see this checklist and go, whoa, there's a lot. Maybe you want to take a quick screenshot of this so that you can keep it, jot down some things. But, the idea is sleep 8 to 9 hours per night. And you're like, no way, I don't have time for that. Well, science says this is what you need. Another one, do 20 to 40-minute intense workouts per week. Also, walk outside every day for at least 30 minutes. I mean, do 2 60-minute cardios. So you get some rest and exercise things, some diet and nutrition helps here. Again, screenshot so you can go back to this later. Daily energizing, things that you can do. Focus on speaking with gesturing and gesturing with passion. So how do you increase your output because your body's going to respond to that and put more in, and now you're going to have more energy? Hug and engage others physically more often. Focus on being present. Keep a gratitude journal. All these things. Again, take a screenshot so that you can come back to this later. But these are ways that you can take your energy physiology to the next level, and other people will notice this in a really good way. And you have to be careful that you don't let that stop you from doing it, because sometimes we're like so used to doing things the way we do them that we go, ooh, I don't want to be known as a crazy freak that bounces off the walls, so people might comment and like, ooh, I better back off. No, you don't need to back that off. If you have energy, it's okay to express it. And you're going to figure that out. It might be a little clunky at first, but you'll be able to get into that place where it's the real you at your best. That's where the world needs you right now. All right, I want to just wrap up with a quick note about how I might be able to help you. Okay, I offer coaching of 3 kinds. One is next level leader coaching. That's group coaching that I do, and particularly around spiritual leadership in groups. You can look at that on my website, gabekolstad.com, under coaching. I also do certified high performance coaching, which is new for me. And I've got a special offer for you in just one second. And I do next level church consulting for teams. I love that. It's been my life ministry for the last 26 years. And I've gotten a chance to serve with some of the best teams across the country, the NSTAC group being one of them, and really love that. So I'm moving into my own consulting practice there and would love to help if you're a church leader and you've got a team that you'd like to take to the next level. We do that. All right. And then last but not least, I have a free strategy session I'm offering you. And the link for that is going to be right here in these notes. And so I want to encourage you to sign up for your free strategy session, because it's something that can really help you to identify what are your next steps, and absolutely free and no obligation for that. So I want to encourage you to take me up on that offer. And I want to thank you for being part of this session 2 of our monthly leadership coaching, and hope that this is helpful. Feel free to share this with a leader that you know that might be interested in this, and let them know how they can get involved in future sessions. You can forward them the registration link for the Zoom call. You can point them to the Facebook event. You can send them to my website, gabekolstad.com. But we'd love to connect with as many people as possible that want to go find that significant mission. Thanks a lot for being part of this.